Friend, we've only looked at a handful of possible careers for you to choose from. There are many, many more. We'll keep searching until we find something that fits you perfectly. Really? You're a true friend, Lazar. I'm so excited. Since TV, radio, and journalism did not fit me, what other careers do you think I'd be interested in? What can you suggest next? Jingles, have you ever thought of going into the medical profession? Medical profession? Are you suggesting that I should become a doctor, a surgeon, some kind of specialist? If that's where your heart leads you, there are also other paths along that line. What other paths, Lazar? Nursing, for example. There was always a shortage of nurses wherever you go in the world. If you were to become a nurse, you'd never have to worry about getting a job. There would always be one for you, regardless of where you wanted to live or when. That sounds fantastic, Lazar. But if it's such a great job, why is there a shortage of nurses? There is such a shortage, nurses have to work very long shifts, sometimes 12 or 16 hours a day. They have to sacrifice a large part of their lives. Unlike celebrities, the part they sacrifice is not their private lives. They make sacrifices in just about every other part of their life, though. There must be some reward that keeps them going year after year. Yes, there is. Their desire to help people is fulfilled, many times over. Nurses sure don't work for the pay, although it isn't bad. They work because they enjoy what they do. It calls for a very special kind of person to make this commitment. Look towards the view screen and learn about the field of nursing.
Your life work. If you want to be a professional nurse, it is necessary to choose a good school of nursing, because only in a good nursing school can you get the preparation on which your future as a nurse must depend. You first should be a high school graduate, and although the requirements of individual nursing schools vary, in general, it is well to take the college preparatory program offered by the high school. In nursing, as in every other field, the more educational and cultural background you bring to your work, the farther you probably will go. In planning your career, write to the State Board of Nurse Examiners in the state in which you wish to obtain your nursing education for a list of schools of nursing which meet requirements set by law in that state. A growing number of schools of nursing are connected with universities. The largest number are owned and operated by hospitals. Their course of instruction usually covers a period of 3 years and leads to the nursing diploma. Visit the nursing school which you are considering, or at least write for a catalog. Get definite information about the size, preparation, and experience of the school faculty. Find out if the diploma of the nursing school entitles you to take state board examinations. Inquire if the school is approved by the medical profession, and investigate the courses provided for student nurses. Good schools of nursing will admit only those high school graduates who placed in the upper third or half of their class, and give preference to young people who have had work or experience beyond high school. The good nursing school first will be concerned for your own health. You'll be given a thorough medical examination and must meet certain health standards before you are accepted. You will learn to practice rules of positive health, and there should be recreational facilities available for your use and that of your fellow students. Your own personality is very important to the success of your nursing career. The ability to get along with other people is valuable in any profession, but it is absolutely essential to the nurse. You should be strong, because as a nurse, people will depend on you. You should be trustworthy, because people will confide in you. You should be steady, dependable, self-reliant, tactful, sympathetic, and have a sense of humor. You should have a spirit of service and a sincere interest in human beings of all classes and kinds. Your nursing school courses in psychology and sociology will help you in your work with patients and your relationships with other people. And reading nursing literature and other books in the school library will also help. In all good schools of nursing, courses in biology, bacteriology, and chemistry are provided, and it will be very helpful for you to have some background in the science subjects before you enter nursing school. Work in anatomy and physiology must be included, for a knowledge of the human body and its functions is essential in the work of the nurse. Instruction in nutrition and cookery are necessary to teach the nurse how properly to direct the preparation of food for patients, and in many cases, to prepare it herself. When she is caring for patients in the home and lacks the scientific facilities of the modern hospital, this ability and a great amount of resourcefulness is especially valuable. Well-equipped schools of nursing provide a nursing arts laboratory or a demonstration room, which is set up like a small ward with beds and a medicine cupboard and other supplies. Here, nursing procedures may be demonstrated, and the student nurses practice the techniques of nursing using one another as practice patients. The care of communicable diseases requires special techniques which the nurse must master for her own welfare as well as for that of the patients. Such techniques are based upon absolute cleanliness and the use of disinfectants. The majority of nursing schools have an arrangement whereby the student nurse receives her room and board, and in some cases other items such as laundry, in return for service given in care of patients under the direction of supervisors. The better schools give valuable instruction during the hours of practice on the wards, including conferences, bedside clinics, and individual assistance from the instructors. During the clinical period, the student nurse should gain experience in medical, surgical, maternity, and communicable disease nursing, the care of children and the mentally ill, and the knowledge of public health nursing. The joy of any girl is justified when she receives the diploma of her nursing school and knows that she is about to begin a constructive career in the profession she has chosen. After completing their preparation in a school of nursing, graduate nurses must pass state board examinations before they can get employment as registered nurses with the privilege of using the initials RN after their names. Private duty nurses may be called by a doctor or by some member of the family to give special nursing care to someone who is sick either in the hospital or in the home. Whenever called, the private duty nurse goes, ready to fit in wherever the patient may be, regardless of what the illness is. She usually cares for only one patient and helps that patient through all the stages of the illness. Each patient presents a different personality, different problems, and the nurse must bring comfort and assurance to the patient and the patient's family. And it is also important that she teach them to guard against future illness. The private duty nurse gains wide experience in different kinds of illness and has a chance to make many friends. Nurses in factories give first aid treatment in case of accidents and supervise the health of workers. To a great extent, heavy industry employs male nurses who are increasing in number, and other men in nursing are employed in the care of the mentally ill and in prison hospitals. In schools, the school nurse gives physical examinations to the pupils and works with the teachers in educating the pupils in good health habits and in preventing the spread of diseases in the school. In some fields of public health nursing, the nurse visits her patients in their homes. Under the physician's direction, she gives care to the sick and combats epidemics. She teaches mothers how to give their families better food and health care. It is due largely to her that many children are given the right start in life, and that fathers and mothers are learning the rules of health that lead to happier and more useful living. In great emergencies, An army of enrolled Red Cross nurses can be called together very quickly to give emergency nursing service. The federal government employs thousands of nurses in the Army Nurse Corps, the Navy Nurse Corps, the United States Public Health Service, the United States Indian Service, and in Veterans Administration hospitals. You can see for yourself that there's a definite demand for well-qualified nurses in public health nursing and in government service. For any kind of serious illness, doctors ordinarily recommend that patients be placed in a hospital if possible because of the better facilities and care that is available there. Staff nurses guard and care for the sick on the wards, both day and night, and also give care to people who periodically come to the outpatient department for treatment. The nurses take temperature and pulse, give medicine and special treatments as prescribed by the doctor, and do everything possible for the comfort and speedy recovery of the patient. To the doctor, they report the patient's condition and have ready for him the solutions and dressings which he may need. Nurses in the operating rooms prepare the operating table, sterilize the instruments, and lay them out in proper position and order. After the patient has been made ready for the operation, the nurse assists the surgeon by handing him the right instruments and materials as required. Nurses on duty in the emergency ward must be prepared at all times to assist in the care of any cases brought in by the ambulances. In institutional nursing, there are a number of administrative positions, including those of hospital superintendent, director of nursing service, head nurse, and supervisor. Many nurses hold positions on the faculties of schools of nursing. Such positions as these are definitely worth planning toward. Preparation for them requires at least some college background, and in many instances, a degree and postgraduate work, in addition to executive or teaching ability. The nurses who deal with the treatment and care of children must be able to apply treatments as specified by the doctor and have a knowledge of proper foods and their preparation, for in many diseases, permanent cure may result only from correction of the diet and be a slow process. Child nursing requires a liking for children and the ability to work happily with them. The nurses in the maternity wards care for mothers and their babies. The chief aim of maternity nursing is a well baby and a well mother who knows how to care for herself and her baby. Part of the responsibility of the nurse, therefore, is to teach mothers the correct care of their babies when very tiny and as they grow older. If you really want to be a nurse, do your best work at all times, both in your preparation and in actual service. In this way, will you gain the knowledge, vision, and understanding necessary to make your life as a nurse a successful and happy one.
Nurses are so noble and should be very proud of their profession and all they do in it. I wish I felt I had the stamina to be able to handle the long shifts and difficult tasks. I really don't think I could handle the constant demands that would be placed on me, Lazar. I would love to have the skills, heart, and devotion that each nurse needs to have, but I know I don't. Don't feel bad, Jingles. Very few people have those qualities in abundance, or at least enough to be able to handle such a stressful career. At least you are honest with yourself, and you know yourself well enough to know your limits from the start. I still feel kind of bad, though. There is another possibility, a profession still in the medical field, but not as strenuous as nursing. What is this profession, Lazar? It's called pharmacist. Oh, I know that one. He's the man who fills my prescriptions after I see the doctor. You're right, Jingles. He or she takes the paper that your doctor gives you, and then gives you the medicine you need in order to feel better. You've been to the pharmacy many times, so you know that the atmosphere is far less stressful than a doctor's office or hospital. I would like to hear more about pharmacy work, Lazar. Then look towards the view screen, Jingles, and learn about the world of the pharmacist.
This is a microscopic view of germs magnified several million times. When germs attack the human body, they often cause serious and dangerous diseases, such as diphtheria, a vicious disease of children. Germs in unknown trillions upon trillions infest the earth. They cripple and maim and destroy human life. To combat these germs and to protect public health, modern medical practice enlists the aid of vaccines, serums, medicines, and drugs. The science of preparing and dispensing these medicines and drugs is called pharmacy, one of the oldest professions known to man. And the key figure in this profession is the highly trained, registered pharmacist. He may be the man working diligently in the research laboratory, seeking to develop new and better forms of medication. Or he may be found in a pharmaceutical plant, controlling the strength, purity, and quality of drug products. Or he may be serving in any one of almost 60,000 retail drugstores throughout the country, cooperating with physicians in the interest of public health. Although the corner drugstore is often an all-service institution, its most important function is to serve as the health center of the community. A doctor's prescription may seem mysterious to the average layman, but it's all very simple to the pharmacist. It may contain chemical names or abbreviated medical terms, but the pharmacist understands it perfectly. It is his responsibility to make sure that each prescription is filled exactly as the doctor has ordered. Accuracy and skill are synonymous with pharmaceutical technique. An error in the compounding of a prescription could be injurious or even fatal to the patient. So the pharmacist must take every precaution in his work. He checks and double-checks both the instructions and the required ingredients. After the medicine is compounded, he transcribes the necessary instructions on the label. Each prescription has its own serial registry number, which goes on permanent file to be kept on record as required by law. Annually, about 300 million prescriptions are filled by pharmacists. To be a pharmacist, one must be a graduate of an accredited college of pharmacy and pass the state examination for a license. The pharmacist, in common with all professional men, has a responsibility for ethical and conscientious service to his community. For at one time or another, human life will depend on his ability, accuracy, and integrity. On the pharmacy shelves are many drugs that must be used only under professional direction. Many of these are restricted items and must not fall into unscrupulous hands. Before he can fill any prescription containing poisons or narcotics, the druggist must obtain the purchaser's signature and address and the reason for the purchase in a special ledger. In very large drugstores, the pharmacist devotes his time exclusively to filling prescriptions. In smaller stores, he may also be in charge of hospital and sick room supplies as well. In these stores, the prescription business is generally light. So the pharmacist, who is usually the owner, sells many other products to maintain a sufficient volume of business. Success in pharmacy, as in any other profession, is achieved by diligence, persistence, and strict regard for professional ethics. In recent years, specialized prescription stores have become more numerous. Here, pharmacists sell only pharmaceutical products and supplies. As specialists, they keep up with all current developments in the drug field and can supply physicians with expert information on this subject. Specialization is also required in the field of hospital pharmacy, which offers opportunities for both men and women. Here, pharmacists must compound drugs, fill prescriptions, prepare antiseptic solutions, serums, and vaccines, and make bacteriological and clinical tests. Those in supervisory positions are responsible for the purchase of medical supplies and for the general administration of their departments. Veterans Bureau hospitals also require many pharmacists for staff duty. In fact, the government is one of the largest employers of pharmacists. Many positions are open to trained men and women in the Food and Drug Administration, to inspect commercial products for purity and quality, in the Public Health Service to prepare and dispense medicines in cooperation with physicians, and in the Internal Revenue Bureau and other federal agencies. All of these government jobs are under civil service, with definite steps for advancement and usually offer permanent employment. A degree from a college of pharmacy is essential for this type of work. The Navy and the Army, however, prefer to train their own pharmacists, since they are also taught to administer the medicines they compound. A pharmaceutical background is invaluable for individuals with special aptitudes. Those with ability for organization can find excellent opportunities for service in professional and trade associations. Those who like outdoor work can find opportunities in the growing of medicinal plants. Those who have literary ability may serve as writers and editors for professional magazines and trade journals. And those with a competence to teach may become instructors in colleges of pharmacy. Preparations for a career in pharmacy should begin in high school. A part-time job in a drugstore will determine whether a student has real interest and ability in this field. By assisting the registered pharmacist, the student also gains useful experience and helpful knowledge that will be of great benefit to him later. While acquiring this practical experience, the prospective pharmacist should study chemistry and biology. A foundation is thus prepared for his college work, which generally consists of a 4-year course leading to a Bachelor of Science degree in pharmacy. If he needs financial assistance, scholarships may be available to meet part of the college expenses. After graduation, he must pass a state board examination before receiving a license to practice. Most states now grant reciprocity to out-of-state applicants. Although only a small percentage of pharmacists are women, the proportion is steadily increasing. Women make good pharmacists, and opportunities are open to them in every phase of the profession. Many are employed as technicians and supervisors by drug manufacturers. In this field, registered pharmacists are in constant demand, not only in the manufacture of pharmaceutical products, but also as salesmen and detail men to visit physicians and druggists and to give technical advice on the latest developments in medicines and drugs. These developments are carried out by research pharmacists in the laboratories. To them goes much of the credit for the advancement in the treatment of disease. They strive constantly to find new medicinal weapons to combat man's greatest enemies, the germs of disease. Daily, headlines tell us of their results, of lives saved by new drugs, vaccines, and serums. In this dramatic fight to preserve and protect the nation's health, the corner druggist plays a role that is just as important as that of the scientist in the research laboratory, the clinic, and the experimental station. For in the end, each new discovery finds its way to the local retail pharmacy. The corner druggist acts as a distributor of medical products in every part of the nation. For those who can qualify, who combine manual dexterity and accuracy with professional integrity, this field offers excellent opportunities for useful service to humanity for both men and women. The work is confining and requires continual skill and diligence, but the rewards are satisfying, for this is work that contributes directly to human welfare. Study your interests and aptitudes and compare them with the requirements of this profession. Pharmacy may become your life work.
That was indeed an informative film, Lazar. Working with people, helping them individually, seeing their happiness. I know that is something I want in a career. I just don't think I'd be happy working as a pharmacist, though. It's a fine profession, but it just doesn't seem to fit who I see myself being someday. Does that make sense? As long as it makes sense to you, Jingles, that's the only thing that matters, isn't it? I guess so. Lazar, I want to be with people. I want to help people. There must be some career out there which would allow me to do this and still be something I'd want to devote my life to. I feel like we're getting close, that we're on the right path. I only wish I knew how to proceed next. Jingles, I've known you a long time. With what you've just told me, I think I might know the perfect career for you. I have some films in the basement. I hadn't expected to need these particular films any time soon, so they are still in boxes down there. I'll need to get them. Will you excuse me for a few moments while I head to the basement? Of course, Lazar. Take all the time you need. It's not easy deciding what to do with your life. Far from easy. There are so many options. Getting them down to a few, then to one, seems like an impossible task. But if you have friends around, friends who really care about you and your future, then the journey to find what you are looking for isn't as hard as you once thought it would be. Friends like Lazar, for instance, people who can suggest things for you. Then, afterwards, talk about those suggestions, pointing out the promises and pitfalls of each one. Friends like that are true friends. They are the ones you want to keep with you, always. Lazar did say he had an idea about my future career. His ideas are always good. What on earth can this idea be about? What indeed?